photographic documentary. Cora thought so highly of that exhibit that she took it to Washington, D.C. as an example of the types of things that we produce here in Mississippi. Well, fast forward. I'm sitting around minding my own business, which is really not the truth. I was talking to someone. I was sitting next to Gus McCoy when I came back home, I guess in the mid-90s. And I was sitting next to Gus, and he was talking about needing a film for the 100th anniversary of the NAACP, which they were celebrating. And I just straightened my little self up and said, I can do that. I had never made a film before in my life. But when I was away, I had a public relations marketing firm, and I thought, I made commercials, so that ought to be about the same thing. Not. I mean, I'm doing a documentary film. I'm not doing a 3-second commercial. So anyway, I put my shoulders back. They needed it in 4 weeks. So I get ready. And lo and behold, somehow I managed to produce my first 10-minute film called Pathfinders to a Legacy, which and Gus told me who we wanted in the film. I didn't have to come up with the ideas. So he said he wanted Margaret Walker Alexander, Fannie Lou Hamer, Aaron Henry, and let me think, Medgar Evers. He wanted those 4 people. Well, I didn't just go and just have pictures of them. I just wish I could do things simple. And I have to digress. A friend of mine once said, Wilma is just a hot dog. I don't know how to make hot dogs because I'm always fricasseing and all that. So rather than just having pictures, I went and found archival footage of these people so that people could hear from them what was happening in their lives. Well, we had it ready for the anniversary, and it was at the Walthall. They had a theater in there, and so people were packed in there. Now, didn't I tell you it was a 10-minute film?
Yeah.
I had the nerve to be late for a 10-minute film because I was nervous. It was my first film. So my husband and I went in, and the theater was just filled with people who were watching that film over and over and over again, the same people. And I was like, wow, there's still a niche, which Jesse saw in the 1940s, for information about people of African descent and the contributions that we have made to the state of Mississippi. And now we go beyond.
Yeah.
Because people keep thinking that we haven't done anything, that misnomer, that rumor keeps going around that Blacks haven't done anything. We're taking everything. We're sucking the energy out of everything. But by having these films show the things that we have done and based on researched history, not rumor, we're able to dispel those myths. So the start of that, the long answer to that question you asked me, you can blame Gus McCoy because he is the reason that I started doing these films.
Right. And they're amazing films. And I think for many of us, you do such an in-depth story, and it's such touching, and it touches your mind, your body, your spirit. And you do it in less than 30 minutes, most of your documentaries.
They are short.
Yeah. And look, I know I always bring that up, but it's a good selling point these days, at a society where our attention spans have gotten shorter. But you're going to be we're going to talk about a lot of other things, but I want to right now, for those who are listening, that Saturday you're going to be at the 2 Mississippi Museums from 1 to 3 p.m. and you'll be there to sign and personally autograph books. Some of your books, the main one, of course, the ones that you did on your mother, which is beautiful. And when we talk about the holidays and gift giving, that is a wonderful book for gift giving for the holidays. So as people looking to shop, I know this is sometimes you're looking for Black Friday deals and looking for different things. And we talked about on Wednesday of this week on the Working Woman Report about creating your wow moments. These are the type of gifts that help you create your wow moments. Because, where we are post-COVID is, I think for a lot of us, we've gotten away from what is material things, the things that are $200, $400 Louis Vuitton bags and all these things. It is those very touching, deep things that touch us and move us now. And so these types of books that you have written that are about our people in Mississippi, the people that look like us, that have treaded these, have been innovators and trailblazers. These are the type of gifts that you want to give. And what I said to people, I take books like that, and then I'll put a little nice little label on in the front of it, that on the inside cover, that has your name. You might want to put a favorite scripture or favorite quote that you have inside, with your signature on it. That is a wonderful, wonderful gift. So I want to invite people out on Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. They can get this particular book. And what are the other books that you're going to have there, and other things that people can pick up there?
Well, again, we will have Jessie, One Woman, One Vision. And what's unique about that book is that it's actually in her words. And she talks about her life's journey. And it's an example of how a mother survived and grew children who had value and self-worth within themselves in a time when it was very difficult. And I think the one quote that will always stick with me that she said, someone asked her, "How do you teach children their place?" And she said, "I don't have to. The world would teach them that." What she did was try and nurture us to be creative thinkers and doers, in spite of where we were or who people thought we were. But the other pieces that we'll have there, I'm really excited about having the book Living in the World I.T. Montgomery built, because that's a story not only about Mound Bayou, Mississippi, but it's about Black towns that existed before Mound Bayou. And I like that book because it's relevant now, because I'm really excited because everybody's talking about Tulsa and then the Wall Street, the Black Wall Street. But there were a plethora of Black Wall Streets across the country that were destroyed because people became envious of the way Black people were surviving in spite of it all. So, which leads me to another film that I dearly love about my friend, Dr. Ollie Brown Shirley, which is entitled In Spite of It All. And she talks about the things that she had to endure and her husband had to endure and how they made it in spite of it all. So that's how that title came. We will also have the publication, Did Johnny Come Marching Home? Now, people always wonder, why do you say Did Johnny Come Marching Home? Because that's a song that everybody knows. But it's actually about the Mississippi United States colored troops, the people from Mississippi who served as United States colored troops in Mississippi. There were 17,000 plus men from Mississippi who were in the United States colored troops who fought in the Civil War in Mississippi. Now, can you imagine what it would be like if they had been captured or what happened to them because they were Black, fighting against Southerners in Mississippi, their slave masters? So that book pays homage to those particular people. Those are at least 3 of the publications we have. We'll also have there some of our other film that I think people might be interested in, especially the Lanier Bus Boycott. I'm excited about the Lanier Bus Boycott because most people don't know that L. Port Chess had a bus boycott here in Mississippi from Lanier High School, Lanier students, 8 years before Rosa Parks. So that was a story that has not been told before, and it took all of those years for us to get that story out. We'll have a few more, but those are some of the highlights.
Yeah, and that's really exciting, and people can even take the time to stop by just to talk with you. But we also want them to pick up these items as gifts for themselves and their families, and great little books that people, if you had some young girls and young boys that you want to read history to, Mississippi history to, and be able to ask them questions. These are really great opportunities and gifts for that. And then this is coming up holiday time. What great documentaries to be able to share during the holidays. I think we're going to be trying to do a little camping. So those of you who have even fireplaces at home, put in the documentary and relax with a little apple cider and really enjoy and start a conversation with your family. I mean, gosh, to talk about Mississippians and we all, and if you know somebody in Mississippi, you may not know that person, but you know somebody who knows that person, and so on and so on. So these are great opportunities for people to do that also. So we're so glad that you're having this particular event. There's also a museum store that will be open on Saturday. I have bought many exciting gifts inside the store, so stop by the store, check it out. Stop by your booth and get a signed autographed copy of your books and things also. Let's talk a little bit about the Smith Robinson Museum, which your mom founded, and is still a very important asset for the city of Jackson. It was a school at one time. So tell us a little bit about the history of that.
Well, it's interesting that I say mother was championed that museum because why am I blocking on her name? Don't let me I'll get back to it, but I see her face and everything. I hate when I do that, but it happens. Okay. My mother was sitting there in the living room talking with her, and the two of them decided that she asked mother to help her with the museum. And so mother decided that this was something that was necessary because it was getting ready to be torn down. Alfred T. Harrison. It was getting ready to be torn down. And so when Dr. Harrison came and asked mother to be a part of it, she said certainly because it was that important. Well, now I have to just back up. My mother was 5'2". We've talked about this before. And people think that she was 6'10" because that's how impactful she was. When she decided that she was going to do something, she did not waste her time or energy saying, I don't think so. She plowed ahead. Now, I know some people say I'm sort of like that, but, well, it's hereditary. What can I say? So when it came time for her to go before the city council, people were asking her, well, how much are you going to ask them for? What are you going to do? And mother said, I'm going to ask them for $200,000 to do whatever. Now, that may not be the figure, but it was more than $10. Mm-hmm. And as a result of her bodaciousness, as they say, that school was saved. And it was actually 2 separate units with a courtroom in between. And so when you go there today, you will see that it has been covered so that space can be utilized for having luncheons and things like that. But it was because of her vision that she saw this becoming one whole school. In one wing, you can still see the original paintings on the wall of the school. If you're walking straight down east in the left wing, on the right-hand side wall, you will see the original paintings that were on the school wall. She had originally wanted that to be, and it still is, a place to showcase local history, to showcase the things that people did not know about. And she also made partnerships with the Smithsonian Museum so that there were exhibits coming through that we never would have gotten before. And they still have opportunities and still do things there. It's a magnificent place still, because it came when nobody was doing anything to showcase the history of people of African descent in Mississippi. And it came at a time when people would least expect it. I think it is so exciting that it shows what can happen in Mississippi, because the 2 museums was built totally by monies from Mississippians. That's the same thing that happened with the Smith Robinson Museum and Cultural Center. It's where we all came together, black, white, green, and yellow, to make sure that history was preserved, that something could happen. And those are the stories that we like to tell. Yes, we know all of the history of Mississippi. I mean, some people want to make us the poster child for ugly, and I don't know that we won't win that award. But by the same token, there are some wonderful things that have happened here. And Smith Robinson Museum and the 2 museums are examples of that.
I was telling the story. We recently had an incredible last Thursday, an incredible business networking event and a meet and greet. And it was a great opportunity. We had a lot of great dialogue. It was just a fantastic evening. But I shared that I was traveling recently for about 10 or 12 days and to different places. I went to DC and all was business trips, but I had a little time in between and I had to go to Dallas before coming back to Mississippi. But I could not wait to get back to Mississippi at the end of my journey. I was just in anticipation to get back home. And one of the things that I experienced, I don't know, it was just a series of things. I was thinking about what was happening in the particular cities and the different conversations and tables that I was at. And I thought about how incredible Mississippians were. Specifically the women in Mississippi, the women of color that was in Mississippi, and what we do and how we do it, and what we have contributed to this particular state and into our economy. And I was just so excited and filled with joy at what we have here, specifically in Mississippi, the homegrown, the women from the soil, the work that we do every day in our business lives and our family lives. And I felt so proud and excited to get back to Mississippi and get going back again, because no matter what's going on in the rest of the world, what we do here in Mississippi is incredible. And what Mississippians do and what we bring to the table, it is incredible. And when we talk about the history of Mississippi, we know African American women have contributed so much. And I talked to the women that last Thursday evening to say, when you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, you need to be so very, very proud. Because there's nothing you can get other places that you can get here in Mississippi. The food, the culture, the people, the family, the stories, the jokes, every single thing you think about, we have a unique take on it, And I sometimes, when I'm in prayer, I said, thank you, Lord, for being a Black woman. Thank you, Lord, for being raised here in Mississippi. Thank you for being born here in Mississippi. Thank you for being born to African American women who were innovators and trailblazers and lovers and teachers and educators and so much more. I am so proud to be a Mississippian. I am so proud to be a woman of color. And I tell you, I'm always excited to hear about my history, because it really brings home who we are today, no matter what's happening in our society. So I'm so glad to be having this conversation with you tonight, Dr. Clopton, because you remind me of all those particular elements, from where you come from and from where you are. What are you working? Go ahead.
I want to say one thing. What's funny is, every time I go, I'm like you, I travel a lot. And somebody asked me once, they said, why is it that anybody we meet from Mississippi, no matter how long they've been away or where they live, they always say, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I said, you just don't know this. There's a special, I can't even begin to describe it. From the outside looking in, everybody wants to have all of these things to say about us. But when you cross that, you see that Mississippi line, it's just like a relief to be here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's inexplicable. But this soil has nourished us and has offered us so many challenges that whatever we are here in Mississippi, we can face anything, anywhere. Because people, I know they ask you, because they ask me, you're from Mississippi. Well, of course. Where else do you think I'm from? They always don't believe we are from Mississippi.
And what's exciting too, no matter what, we have a lot of stuff that happens on national news and that's reported. But when I travel around other parts, and I've lived in California, Michigan, a lot of different other places, but even when I'm traveling now and in conversation, it comes up that I'm from Mississippi, I'm a Mississippi girl, there's a smile on the other person's face that is, it's a different type of smile. It's like a smile that has an excitement. You're from Mississippi? And
exactly.
It's not a negative smile. It's not a negative snork or anything like that. It's an excitement, because the next questions, they start asking you all of these wonderful questions. Oh, what about the food? What about the pecan pie? Do I say pecan? Do I say pecan? All of those things come up, and you're laughing inside. And you, if you're a true Mississippian, you were born and raised here, you want to share whatever you want to really make them smile even more by telling them all kinds of other stories that they're from. And so,
I think we're trying to bring balance to the Mississippi narrative,
mm-hmm.
to know that Yes, those we have. We are a microcosm of the United States. Mm-hmm. And so whatever happens here happens everywhere else. But these are the things that we like to share about Mississippi, about the wonderful things that you never hear about Mississippi.
And I have to say, when we talk about history too, is I even see it in the young people. You know, they come from a different time and they think differently, walk different, and that's okay too. But I also see that's in us, in them. So many young, incredible women that are part of Women for Progress organization, Teresa Jones, Miss Teresa Kennedy. I can name so many other different incredible young women that are doing so many unique things. And I see that in them. Miss Teresa Jones, who's from the Delta. And she always, I don't know if there's a conversation I've had with her that she didn't somehow get the Delta name in there, in the little town that she's from. You know, how do you do that? You know, how do you get that in every conversation? But she's proud from being in that little spot in the Delta. And it means so much to who she is and the integrity she walks with and all the things that she brings to the table, her intelligence, her commitment to excellence, all comes from her parents and how she was raised, where she was raised. And I do believe it's something has to do with the soil too, from where you stand. You can't help but get your toes in the mud and all those kind of things. It becomes part of your blood and part of your DNA while you're growing up living. And you mentioned earlier about eating cane, you know. There was a method to it. I know when we were young people and our parents would let us go out and pick our own stalks of cane, and we come back on the front porch and we would take our little knives and strip it down. Yep. You know, there was a selection process. You could look at that cane, you can know by the size of it and the color of it if it was going to be real juicy when you bit into it, you know. So you know, our new generation doesn't understand that. We have to start sharing more of those stories. Yeah.
But that's why it's important. See, history is not just about the gore of it. That's history. Mm-hmm. You're talking about history lessons that we need, like how to eat sugarcane. We're trying to pass on some of the traditions in history that they don't have a chance to see. I know I had a young person in my house and I had all of these crushed eggs. So finally they asked, why are you saving all these eggshells? And so before I could answer, another person in the house said, it's for the garden because that helps bring, you know, nutrients to the soil. And then he turned around and told me he's young blood. I'm like, oh, okay. That's history. Yeah. That's history. So I want us to know that spreading the message about history is wider than we think. Mm-hmm. You started to ask me earlier about what we're thinking about working on, and one of the things is just that, called survival lessons, because there are certain things that people did in order to survive on the farm and have the life that we didn't even know we were poor because we survived so well. So I've seen, you know, some people have told me some of the stories, and I'm looking forward to being able to share those at some point in time. We're also working on a really remarkable film about food apartheid, which will premiere February the 26th, also at the two museums at our bash, the filmmakers bash, which we usually do with chefs. And they say the bash is back in silver and black. So, you know, mark your calendars for the 26th of February for this really incredible film that has been commissioned by the Department of Culture, Human and Cultural Services, City of Jackson. So we're really excited about that piece. Well, there are plenty more, you know that.
But let's talk about this bash too. You know, I'm wondering how you all going to handle, I mean, the whole conversation, much as the whole conversation, a large part of the conversation in COVID has been about food, and it's been about a lot of the restaurants that have closed, those who have come back online, even the new restaurants that are coming online. But there's been a big struggle between it all. And there's been some changes in how we prepare food, how we pick up our food, how we eat, what foods we're eating, how do we feel about food because we've gained pounds and doing that process. It's been a very interesting time around restaurants and and food management and so many different things. How will the bash address all of those challenges and those successes that we have experienced in the last year?
Well, fortunately for us, those two museums has a COVID protocol. Mm-hmm. And so they are actually managing how that will be handled, from the way we'll be seated, from the way flow. This will actually not be a y'all come bash. It's going to be a very small event compared to the ones that we usually do because of the COVID restrictions. And we don't mind that. Mm-hmm. Especially myself, if I hear about a flu in California, I've got it in Mississippi before it even gets this way. So I'm very concerned about that. But we're following all the COVID protocols. Unfortunately for us, Chef Nick is the person who is handling all of the chefs and how that will be handled. So I know that we will be taken very good care of. And there will be no tickets available at the door. So if they have not pre-purchased anything, if they have not shown that they have masks or their shots, they cannot get in. So we are taking all of that into consideration.
And will you be sharing some of the stories and experiences that have happened over the past year around food and restaurants and those types of things? How chefs have even managed it, in the way they've managed it?
Well, not at this particular thing. I don't want to give away the whole secret of this show, but it is what we have found through our research in terms of food and food apartheid, and we don't mean food insecurities, we mean food apartheid, has been just phenomenal. And the things that people have shared with us, now there have been films that have been out there that have talked about food insecurities, but the information that has been shared, to me, is just mind-boggling. When I first started hearing all these little bits and pieces, I was telling the funders, I'm like, you won't believe what I just found out. Because it makes sense in terms of how the system has been structured once you see what we present. So I'm excited about the film. I'm excited to be able to share it on the 26th of February. And we will have all the protocols in place to ensure, as best we can and as best the museum can, that we are going to be in a safe environment. So,
and Dr. Copeland, when will the tickets be available? Because I heard you said it's going to be limited on the tickets. So I know folks like me and others want to go ahead and get our tickets right up front. When would they be ready for purchase?
They are available now. People are already making pre-purchases. Mm-hmm. We have people out there who are selling tables already. So we only have 150 tickets. Mm-hmm. So you see the difference, because that was the number of people that we had in the VIP section before. Mm-hmm. And the larger event had many more than that. So the whole event is only going to be 150 people. Mm-hmm. So those tickets are available now. If you want it, let me know.
Okay.
Let me know, because we will not have, unless you see it publicly, like when we get the Eventbrite, that'll be the other way to do it. And we'll be sending out information about it.
Well, we know where you're going to be Saturday, so I'm going to come by and get my tickets on Saturday, or at least put my, what does they say in the Baptist church, I'm going to put my name on the roll.
You can get your name on the roll on Saturday at the two museums between 1 and 3.
Yeah. So let's do that. Pay our money, get it, and you can always get us the ticket later if you need to, but we know we need to sign something so we can know that we've been on the list.
Proof of vaccination is your ticket.
Yeah, good. And by the way, I want to take a pause a moment. We don't have but a few minutes left, but I want to say we've been talking to Dr. Wilma Mosley Clopton, who is a filmmaker and author and historian, and she's going to be on Saturday at the two Mississippi Museums from 1 to 3 p.m. She'll be there signing a couple of her books that she has available. The premiere book is a book about her own mother, Miss Jessie Mosley, Dr. Jessie Mosley. And so you want to stop by, pick up a copy of that, but she has some of her other books there and her documentaries that you might want to pick up. If you're looking for a gift for the holidays, this is a premier gift for you, for a friend, for if you have an aunt, if you have a grandmother who even knows all of these incredible folks, or even part of history in Mississippi, I know they would enjoy watching that for the holidays. So you have a little grandmother or a little aunt that you want to will give a really exclusive gift to, I think this would be great for you to do that. But even if you have children that you want to share the stories in a different way than what they can Google or they can get from YouTube, make sure you stop by and pick up some of the products and services that she has there. And also pick up information. She is a filmmaker, so if you want her to help you create your own family story, that's what's the incredible thing that she does, is that she can help you share your own story, put your own story to film, so you would have it as part of your own family history. So you can stop by and talk to her about that and get her information and get that done. What a wonderful idea to get that accomplished, and then work together as a family to make sure that you get it done and be able to get her to do that, handle that cost for you and all the work that's involved in interviewing your family members and all of that kind of stuff. What a great gift to have ready for the next great holiday that you share with your family, or great occasion that you share with your family, even for our family reunions and things like that next year. Everything that's happening with COVID, we're losing a lot of our loved ones. We've lost a lot of our loved ones. And what a way right now to take the opportunity that many others have not had to be able to get your family members on camera, to be able to hear their stories. Recently, Dr. Mosley, I went back and looked at a lot of the clips over the time period that I got an opportunity to preserve with our own founder, Miss Dorothy Stewart Samuels of Women for Progress. And it always amazes and touches me, the little clips and things that we've gotten over the years. So during the month of December, we're going to play some of those clips, replay some of those clips of different speeches that she gave and conversations that she had with us. And that's going to be a real great occasion to be able to celebrate her, but to be able to hear her words, her voice. So that's what you do as a filmmaker and a documentary person, is to be able to pull all of that together and make history real, make it live for people. And that's why we want them to stop by the two Mississippi museums on Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m., get their book, get your autographed copy for themselves or their family members, and I know you would be excited for that opportunity. Now, the other thing I want to touch on, too, with the few minutes that we have left, Dr. Clopton, is you're now bringing the opportunity, the idea, the awareness of filmmaking to young people in a very unique way. And so tell us a little bit about Digital Magic.
I'm so happy you brought that up. You know what? I need to hire you as my PR person, Willie Jones. We'll talk about that later. Thank you so much. I am truly excited about Digital Magic, and we are getting ready to train some of the teachers at Jackson Public Schools, middle school teachers. This will be our second round of training those teachers in terms of how they can use Digital Magic as an effective teaching tool for children. What we found over the years when we've done Digital Magic is that students, children, youth, everybody wants to have a voice, but they don't know how to have that voice because they want that voice to influence. Through Digital Magic, we teach them to use the iPhone that they have or whatever kind of filming instrument that they have in order to tell their own stories. But what makes it unique is that the students are also learning mathematics, language arts, history, research, social skills. They don't know they're doing all that. All they know is that they're making a film. When we had our summer workshop, what people don't realize is that COVID offers something that we never thought about, and that's the streaming service. So we did it on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And we had students from Kuwait. We had students from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Wow. We had students from Mississippi. And we had students as young as 6 and as old as 18. And we had teachers, so we could divide them up into different groups. And I think the most rewarding thing that happened with that is this 6-year-old his mother told him she did not know if he would be able to continue because she had to do some things. And he reared his little self back and he said, well, I've seen you have conference calls on Zoom while you're driving down the highway. I don't know why I cannot attend Digital Magic also while you're driving down the highway. So he would be sitting in his car seat participating in the program. That tells you how children are excited to do something, to tell their own stories. In fact, our 6-year-olds were the most prolific producers of film that we had. They were almost doing one a week, talking about their family, talking about the experiences that they do. This young man was a golfer. He went out and taught golf lessons. He had that little film on that. So it gives them an experience to learn how to express themselves. Mm-hmm. For teachers, it provides a way for them to learn more about their students. Mm-hmm. As I taught children these things, I learned things that saddened me because they hadn't had a chance to tell anyone. So it provides, if people are interested in having digital magic in their school or as a part of their church or just in general so that their children can express themselves about COVID and the things that are happening in their lives right now, they can give me a call at 601-259-7598, or they can email me at blackhistoryplus@yahoo.com. That's again, blackhistoryplus@yahoo.com. And we're getting ready to put Digital Magic on our website so that people can go through the process, also the different classes. So that'll be coming soon.
And I want to mention too, we have to give your website out, blackhistoryplus.com, or is it .net?
.com.
Okay, blackhistoryplus.com. You can go to and find out a lot of information on not only the film production company NMHS Film Productions and Dr. Clopton and all of the different products and services. You can also find all the contact information. As I stated, if you want to, you would like a documentary film on your own family to create it, or even on your business, or even as an individual. Right now, we're big into branding and telling our own stories. So if you want help doing that, reach out to her production company to help you get that going. So there's a lot of opportunities there. So we have tonight have been talking to Dr. Wilma Mosley Clopton, and remind you again that this Saturday, November 20th, that she'll be at 2 Mississippi Museums from 1 to 3 p.m. Stop by and see her, and pick up a copy of your book or books, and then also books, and stop in to see the museum store, and you can also they'll be having tours, I'm sure, that day. This is an open house. So there'll be, you also, if you haven't been to the museum before, even if you've been there and you want an opportunity to take your kids, or even now, because the holidays is next week for Thanksgiving, you want to stop by and bring your family members that may be already in town. Now, I want to take this last couple of minutes. We'll wrap up, but we'll also tell you about a few things that are coming up. November 23rd, next Tuesday.
My birthday.
Wow, what a great day. We'll have to think of something to do. But that's also election day, and we want you to make plans not only to give Dr. Clopton a shout out on her birthday, but we also want you to come out to the polls and vote November 23rd. We have an important election for Hinds County Sheriff race, which is a very important title and role and crucial to our community. We want you to come out and give your voice at the polls. And look, this has got to be a plan, because I know sometimes we forget this is a mid-season election, and so you want to go before you go to work. That's what I suggest, is get up just a few minutes early, maybe 30 minutes early, get dressed, go to the polls, vote, and then head to work. That's the best option. But at lunchtime, you can go, whatever's convenient for you. The polls open to 7 o'clock also, so if you want to wait till you get off work. I always tell people to go early, because sometimes you get busy. And yes, even though this is an important day, we forget. We have a lot of things on our plate. I've been rocking and rolling until about 5:30 in the evening. I remember, oh my God, I got to get to the poll. And I'm on two wheels trying to get in there about 15 minutes before the polls close, because I know if I get inside that door, I'm done, and I'm going to get it done. But don't wait, because we need every voice, and every voice at the table. We need you to vote. So November 23rd, Hinds County election for sheriff is on the ballot. And I don't know if there's, forgive me if there's something else is on the ballot, but sheriff, definitely we want you to do that. Tonight, immediately in just a few minutes after we get off this program, WLBT has a live debate going on for Hinds County Sheriff. So we want you to tune into that, get as much information you can, but don't rely on just that debate. We want you to go to those candidates' Facebook page, their website, find out about the information, find out about their experience, find out about their qualifications, check it, and look, as the old folks say, find out who they know, and make a good choice on Tuesday, okay? So we look forward to you doing that. Also, Women for Progress has first Tuesdays of each month. We've brought it back, but it's been virtual. Well, for the month of December, on December 5th, instead of being on the regular first Tuesday, it's going to be December 5th, which is a Sunday evening at 5:15. We're going to be at the Holiday Store, which is at LaFleur Gallery, 4800 I-55 North. And we're going to be live. We're going to have lunch and learn, but it'll be in a different kind of flavor. Women Business Network and the Lunch and Learn Committee are combining together for the month of December. And we'll be live there at that particular store, which is a new store that's been opened by a woman of color. So we want to support this beautiful, beautiful store that she's going to be doing. And my understanding is going to be an all year round store. So I guess it'll be a seasons and the different holidays and things like that. So we're going to be there. It's going to be an incredible program. All the tickets for the in-person event, I'm sorry, have been taken up because we had limited space. So all those in-person tickets have been, we post that thing out, and within about 10 minutes, they were all taken up. But you will be able to join us virtually on our Facebook, Women for Progress Facebook page. We'll be broadcasting live to that particular place. And in meaning that also we'll be on womenforprogressradio.com. You can get us live there, and you can get us live on Facebook. So it's going to be an exciting celebration of the holiday, and we want you to join in for that. So put it on your calendars, December 5th at 5:15 p.m. Make sure that you make a note for yourself and a reminder to tune in to be part of that celebration. Kwanzaa, our annual celebration Women for Progress has been doing for many, many years. We're partnering again with two Mississippi museums, December 26th at 5:30 p.m. December 26th at 5:30 p.m. It's going to also be a hybrid model. You can either come in person, or you will be able to get it live, also stream live on Facebook. So we're going to be accommodating all persons for that event too. We have some different things going on this year, so put it on your calendars. I know since it's the 26th, you're going to still have family members. Bring your family members to the museum for that event, or either you can join us live by being streaming. So we're excited about that particular opportunity. Remind you that all through the month of December, Women for Progress Radio is going to be rebroadcasting a lot of its conversations that we've had over the years. That means you're going to get a little peep into Dr. Compton, who did a wonderful series for Women's History Month. We'll be rebroadcasting some of those programming that's going to be available. We'll have that going on all the month of December. But the best way to know what's going to be shown on what evening and what night is for you to connect with our database. Send your name and email address to mail@womenforprogress.net. Mail, M-A-I-L, at womenforprogress.net. Your name and email and cell number, and we'll add you to our database, and you'll get a list of all of these things as they come up. and we'll notify you in advance so you can make sure that you're tuned in. And what a great opportunity now that you have your family in town over the month of December, that you'll be able to have these events. That, hey, Women for Progress Radio is rebroadcasting this show on Constance Slaughter Harvey, this conversation. So let's tune in and get our side and be tuned into that. So we want you to be part of it. We're going to celebrate with Women for Progress Radio for the entire month of December. We're going to have some new conversations too, some living room talks with a lot of our leaders locally here in the city and in our state. So we're going to spice that up a little bit. So it's going to be a wonderful celebration with Women for Progress Radio, which has been in play, a program that has been created, produced, and hosted by women from day one. Okay, right here in the state of Mississippi. So celebrate us with the holidays and get informed about everything that we have going on, the things that make us great here in Mississippi and the city of Jackson. And so stay tuned to all the great events. Dr. Clopton, do you have any? Now, of course, we know that the bash is February 22nd. Is that correct?
26th.
February 26th, and we can get our tickets now, and it's limited tickets. So if you want to get your tickets or get on the roll, Saturday you can come in and see her at the museum and do that. I'm going to get my tickets. And is there any more events we got coming up for you and your production company?
Well, that's the main one because I want people to see our new film, and that's where it will be premiering.
Yeah.
On February the 26th, and see me on Saturday on the what's that, the 20th?
November 20th from 1 to 3 p.m. this Saturday, November 20th to 1 to 3 p.m. I will be stopping by there and seeing you, and not only getting my ticket for the bash, but I'm going to pick up a few items too. I have bought a lot of them over the years, and I always have given that wonderful gift, and people bump into me, and I forget who I've given some of them to. Like, you gave me that wonderful film about so-and-so, so-and-so. I was like, oh, okay, I remember that, you know.
We appreciate the support always. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to give that website again, blackhistoryplus.com, blackhistoryplus.com. All things happening with Dr. Clopton and her great production company can be found there. You've been tuned in to another edition of History Matters, brought to you by Women for Progress Radio Network. I always want to give a shout out to the incredible Miss Juanita Brown, who's our executive producer, who does not get enough pat on the back. She is so patient. She's one of the most patient human beings on the planet. And we love the work that she does behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, to make these programming so great. And she is the engine that keeps us running. So thank you so much, Miss Juanita Brown. If you're listening to us tonight, we appreciate you so very much. We love you. And thanks everybody tonight for tuning in. And remember, right after this program at 6:30 WLBT is the debate tonight on the sheriff race. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dr. Clopton. As always, I feel like I'm always sitting in your living room when we have these discussions.
I know. Thank you. Thank you. Same here. Next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.